What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. Football Friday is back for maybe, a very big week for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Dallas week. It is Dallas week. We've been saying that basically ever since, Sunday against the Commanders ended. Monday would be, the day after and everything like that. Then probably Monday, everyone still was just already moved on to Dallas. Seriously, after the final whistle blew, after the clock ended against the Commanders, that's probably what everybody's focus was just moving on to Dallas. You got the win last week. Now it's Dallas week. That's probably the most important game for a lot of Eagles fans going into the bye week. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a very huge game. The first time you're seeing Dallas this season. Basically, I would say both teams are relatively healthy. Dallas, they're definitely banged up a little bit on their defense and in their secondary. So who knows, maybe the Eagles can find a way to expose that there. But Dallas has still been having a really good secondary the entire season. So it's going to be difficult nonetheless. They're a very good defense against the pass. They're very, borderline mediocre to below average against the run. So I'm not sure how Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson are going to attack this week. In terms of the offense, is, DeAndre Swift going to be much more of a factor? That's something that's going to be, more that we're just going to find out on Sunday afternoon. Well, actually, mid-afternoon. You got that nice little 4:25 start. Quote-unquote, it's Fox's game of the week. So everyone, all the eyes are going to be down on you. Eagles, Dallas, NFC East rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries in the sports. So yeah, it's going to be a very fun time. Dak Prescott, we all know his success against the NFC East. And it's going to be on home turf at the Linc. A bunch of rowdy fans, even though Micah Parsons is trying to rally up some South Jersey Dallas fans to try and take over the Linc so they can overpower the Eagles chants, which is nowhere near in hell going to happen. Eagles fans, find that video of Micah Parsons on his podcast, and it's probably going to be even more of a loud crowd than it would normally be of Eagles fans. So, yeah, there's going to be Dallas fans there, of course, because for some reason there's just a ton of Dallas fans in South Jersey, but they're nowhere going to be close to overpowering any Eagles fans at the Linc. No way in hell. I don't see that happening at all. So, relatively for the Eagles, you're going to be healthy today. I'm recording this around noon. Sadly, I wouldn't have been able to do a stream later tonight. Just busy and all that shit. So that's why I'm getting the recording for you guys. Posting it here later tonight. So like I said, it's around 12. It'll probably be like around 7 o'clock or so when I get this stream up or something like that. I'm probably just going to schedule it in something on YouTube. So you'll guys see when you see it. The time that I'm talking about right now is irrelevant because it's not the time that you guys are watching this. But yeah, the injury report for today is yet to come out. But if you're looking at yesterday's injury report from Thursday afternoon, some relatively, good news. Jalen Carter was a full practice participant. He missed last week's game against Washington with the back situation. So definitely will be a good sign that he's most likely going to be good to go. Opeta was a full participant, but it does sound like it's possible, and we don't know right now. It really just depends on what the injury report is going to be today, because there's a possibility that Cam Jurgens could come back because he was a light participant in practice a few times this week. I'm not sure if he's going to be fully able to go, so that's going to be something that we're just going to have to wait for. But it does sound like rookie Tyler Steen could get the action at starting in that right guard position if Cam Jurgens can't go and, starting over Opeta. So that is definitely something that we're going to have to look forward to. Steen in his limited action when Opeta got, banged up in that Sunday game against Washington, he looked pretty good. His numbers, on the advanced analytics and all the score charts and all that stuff, they were pretty good. Definitely better than what Opeta was doing. So maybe the Eagles found something there. Maybe Jeff Statland liked what he saw from rookie Tyler Steen more. So we're just, like I said, we're going to have to wait and see what happens in that process. Jordan Davis was a light practice participant, but it was expected for him to miss last week's game, and he did play. So I'm assuming Jordan Davis is going to be good to go. Like everything, right now, the injury report from yesterday is kind of irrelevant depending on what happens in this afternoon's injury report, even though that's most likely not going to come out for another few hours here. So we're going to have to wait for that. Sadly, like I said, I wasn't able to do that until the injury report came out. So I had to do it at this point because I would be busy on later in the day. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very fun time. You're going into your bye week. You're relatively healthy, and it's probably the best time to not to get into the bye week. You're 7-1 coming into this week. First time seeing Dallas. Dallas so far this season, they're 5-2. In a lot of their wins this year, they've blown out their teams. So, they started off the year very hot. Wins against both New York teams. They shut out the Giants in that blowout on opening day. Then they blew out the Jets 30-10. And then they lost to the Arizona Cardinals on the road. So far, majority of the only 2 losses for Dallas this year have been on the road. They've played, 4 home games, I believe, and 3 road games. No, actually, 4 road games and 3 home games. So this will be their 5th road game on the year. And both of their losses this year have come on the road. They lost against Arizona, where they didn't play that good at all, and they got blown out by the San Francisco 49ers before the 49ers went on their little losing streak. So that's definitely going to be something to look at there. They played, the past couple of weeks. They had the bye week in between their last 2 games. Before their bye week, they played the Chargers, and that was a very close game. They won 20-17 on the road. And then after their bye week, they played the Rams, and they completely blew them out of the house in Dallas. So far, if you look at all of Dallas's wins this year, 4 of the 5 have been blowouts. The 40-0 win against the Giants, the 30-10 win against the Jets, 38-3 against New England, and 43-20 against the Rams. The only win that they've had this year where it's relatively even close was the Chargers game, and that was a game where both teams were just making a plethora of mistakes. So I'm not sure how Dallas is going to look this week, because their 2 losses, the 28-16 loss against Arizona, they were very bad, a lot of interceptions from Dak, and then the 42-10 game against San Francisco, they just got dominated on every side of the ball. So I'm not sure how this week is going to go. From just looking at the record face value, they play a lot better when they're at home at AT&T Stadium down in Jerry World in Dallas. And when they win games, they win big. Besides that one game against the Chargers, they blow the other team out basically by at least 20. So that's something that we're going to have to look at there to try to shut down their offense. And if it's a relatively close game, that definitely, I guess, favors the Eagles. But, every week is different. We're going to see how Dallas comes out this week, how they're going to be able to handle playing in Philadelphia. How is Dak going to perform? Because we all know how good he is against the NFC East, especially against the Eagles. So we're going to have to see how everything goes. Last year, when these 2 teams faced off in Philadelphia, Dak was injured and they faced the backup, and the Eagles found a way to win. And then when the Eagles played in Dallas on Christmas Eve, it was a Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? I believe it was Christmas Eve. And, so both games last year, the starting quarterback for each team was injured. The first game, Dak was injured. The second game, Jalen was injured. So this is going to be the first time in a little bit where both of the starting quarterbacks are healthy for both teams. And Jalen Hurts really isn't fully healthy. He's still dealing with that bone bruise situation in his knee, but he's still going to be good to go. I'm not shocked at that case. We're probably going to be seeing a little bit of clips of him, a little bit hurdling, maybe trying to run to the field, trying to get a quick snap or something like that. But yeah, this is going to be a big week for a lot of these guys. How is the offense going to attack things? Are they just going to stick to what has been very successful for you, and that is targeting A.J. Brown and getting him into, very tight situations where he finds a way to win the one-on-one battles and finds a way to come up with the ball? That's 6 straight weeks for him of 120-plus yards receiving. So, man, he's on, some history pace right now. And if he continues to play the way that he is playing, my God, he's probably going to be in some MVP conversations. But we're going to have to see, because, Dallas is definitely going to be looking at that matchup a lot against A.J. Brown. So even though they put all the guys on him, he'll probably still find a way to come up with the ball, because he's a great one of the best receivers in the league, a great safety valve, and he finds a way to win one-on-one battles because he's just so strong, and he finds a way to get that separation, or he just finds a way to make the most dramatic catch in the world one-handed when a guy is literally grasping down on him, and he finds the way to come down with the ball. So that's basically what A.J. Brown has been this entire season, ever since, people wanted to blow up at him with, with the whole thing on the sidelines with him complaining. And basically since then, he's been on an MVP type of pace, what A.J. Brown has been doing. But who knows, maybe this opens the gate up a little bit more for DeVonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is going to be used on some chunk plays. Maybe DeVonta Smith with the little bit of the banged up secondary for Dallas. Maybe you could find a way to get DeVonta Smith open and he could break free some guys deep downfield to get a nice, easy touchdown or something like that. So that could be some use there. But we're going to have to see how the run game is utilized because Dallas definitely is not good at defending the run. So how is DeAndre Swift going to be utilized? Is this going to be a game where we haven't really seen in a while where DeAndre Swift takes over? And that's also figured to the fact that the Eagles, for sometimes during the past couple of weeks, have just refused to run the ball with DeAndre Swift, and for some reason, all the Kenny Gainwell stuff, they want to, put Kenny Gainwell in all the positions possible, and they did try to make some explanations on Kenny Gainwell and all that stuff because he's the second best running back in the room. He's going to get touches. You don't see what we do through practice every week and all that stuff, and it's all that stuff trying to protect their players, so I can definitely get that from the coaching staff. It's just that DeAndre Swift is the better back. He should be put in every situation possible to succeed. And I don't want to see Kenny Gainwell in the goddamn red zone this week. And if I see Kenny Gainwell on the first drive, if the Eagles get into the red zone, I'm going to pull my fucking hair out. If he scores a touchdown, he scores a touchdown. But I do need to see some better play calling from Brian Johnson this week in the red zone because, it's always run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, and then, something bad happens. It'll be Kenny Gainwell run up the middle, he gets stopped instantly. It'll be a Jalen Hurts, fake attempt, and then he tries to take it off and gets stopped. And then once again, another run in the middle, or at the check down on 3rd and long. So definitely need to find a way, because this is a game where you really can't afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to turn the ball over to Dallas so many times, because you did it last week against Washington, and yeah, they weren't able to capitalize on majority of your turnovers. But now you're starting to go into the weeks upcoming against the gauntlets, against a lot of the really good teams in this league, against the Dallases, against the Kansas Cities, the Buffaloes, the Seattles, San Franciscos, and all that stuff. You can't be affording to turn the ball over constantly, even though that's basically been this team's MO. Every single week, I can't remember one game this year that they didn't turn the ball over. There probably was one game where they didn't turn the ball over, they didn't throw an interception, they didn't fumble the ball, but it's basically been a part of this offense. They turn the balls over at, maybe some of the worst times possible. Hopefully it's not the same situation as last week, where they're turning the ball over with less than 5 yards in the red zone. That's something that you don't want to do because you're taking points off the board for yourself. You're just stabbing yourself in the foot there. And the more you do that against these better, tiers of competition, they're probably going to make you pay more times than not. So you definitely need to be more protective of the football today. Jalen Hurts has been a lot more efficient with passing the football the past few weeks. He was very efficient last week, very good. I believe he was, named Offensive Player of the Week for the NFL. So if he just continues the way that he is going, we'll be perfectly fine with the way that he's throwing the football. Made some fantastic passes to A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and all that stuff. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Who knows? Maybe Julio Jones gets more into the action. Who knows? Even though that's basically not going to be the case. It's going to be the A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert show, hopefully. I would like to see a game where Dallas Goedert goes off. Maybe this could be one of those ones where he just goes off and he just completely bulldozes his opposing defenders that are right in front of him. He gets a couple of touchdowns, and who knows, maybe the brotherly shove touchdown will work this week. So, because it's definitely been a lot more silent this week because the Eagles did fumble on the brotherly shove. You all know if they have more success with it this week, people will continue talking about it again. So I'm definitely not going to be surprised about that case. But hey. It is what it is at this point. You're 7-1. It's the final week before your bye. Find a way to make it, memorable. Find a way to make it good. Go to 8-1. Move to 8-1 after the bye week, because right now Dallas, they're 5-2 on the year. They did have their bye week a couple of weeks ago, so they do have, a game or so in hand on the Eagles. But you win today, you move to 8-1. Dallas moves to 5-3. You put yourself in a nice little stronghold in the NFC East, because if you're just looking at the entire standings right now, the Eagles are the only team in the NFL with one loss on the year. There's a bunch of other teams with just two losses. Kansas City is 6-2, Detroit 6-2, Miami 6-2, Jacksonville 6-2, Baltimore 6-2, Seattle 5-2, and all that stuff. So some teams that were on the bye week and everything like that. But you have your chance to really cement yourself as one of the more top teams in the league right now if you just continue to find ways to win. And who knows, maybe this will be the week where we finally see the perfect football from the Philadelphia Eagles, because we really just still haven't seen the full potential of this team. They still haven't played their best football, and they're 7-1. If they find a way to play their best football, look out the rest of the NFL. Because right now the Eagles are the best team in the National Football League. They're 7-1 for a reason. They're finding ways to win. Good teams find ways to win, and maybe that'll result in another win this Sunday. I'm confident in our chances. It's definitely going to be a very tough game, just because you know how Dak likes to play against the Eagles especially. So it's going to be a tough contest. It's going to be a tight contest. Defense is definitely got to step up. I would like to see, some interceptions in this game from the defense to try to find ways to get Dak to make some mistakes and get to the quarterback. That'll be hopefully a really good thing, even though Dallas has a really good offensive line. But I would like to see, Hassan Reddick do his damage, the new Jalen Carter coming back from the injury, find his way to make his presence felt against the Cowboys O-line. And let's see how, Micah Parsons is definitely going to have a lot of chips on his shoulders for what he said in the podcast. So how's the Eagles offensive line going to find a way to defend against him? Lane Johnson is going to be paired up against Micah Parsons the entire time. And Lane Johnson has normally done pretty well against Micah Parsons in the matchup. So we'll see if that just, finds ways to continue this week. But it is going to be a very exciting week going into Sunday afternoon, late afternoon actually, 4:25 start. It's just one of those situations. So yeah, it's going to be a very, 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 very fun week. That's all I can say here. Want to see Jalen Hurts continue to do what he's been doing the past couple of weeks, and who knows, maybe AJ Brown goes off again. Maybe that's gonna be the case. I would like to see a Dallas Goedert go off game, just because for the funniness of it. But that's just me. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts basically going into this week against Dallas? Football Friday. Get your thoughts down in the comment section below. Get your score predictions. What do you think's going to happen? So yeah, that's going to do it for today, everybody. So I appreciate you guys, tuning in when this video does go up. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment sections down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service with the YouTube algorithm. Join the TTP Sports family here. Also use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. The live streams will come back. Probably will be Sunday's recap against Dallas. That's probably when the next recap live stream is going to happen. It's just because, during the days this week, it's been really busy. So I've just been, pumping out the recordings just to make it easier on myself. So that's basically what it is. So like I said, I'm recording this like around 12 noon today, and it'll be probably like around 7 when this goes live. So like I said, the time is irrelevant when I'm doing this. When it pops up in your subscription feed, you'll see it. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into this tonight, whenever it is. And yeah, I will see you guys next time, and go Birds.